right, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Joseph Sobieski, and I will be running the professional development for today. Our topic is going to be social and emotional needs of gifted students. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's begin by looking at the characteristics of gifted students. We can see that they often have a deep curiosity for learning. They have asynchronous development, which means that they're developing at a different rate compared to peers, their own age group. So they might be much more advanced in certain areas. They have needs for mental stimulation. They may be a perfectionist, and they're often able to absorb information rapidly. And all of these things, they seem like positive characteristics. But we can also look at the double-edged sword of being gifted students, which means that they're going to have unique needs and they're going to have unique stress that goes along with being a gifted student. And that's what we're going to look at today is what can we do as teachers to support their social emotional learning while they're with us. So now I'd like to get into the true definition of what is social emotional learning. And I have a quote here from CASEL.org, which is one of the leading research groups for social emotional learning. So I'd like to share this quote with you. It says, social emotional learning is the process through which all young people and young adults acquire and apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage emotions, and achieve personal and collective goals. They feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain supportive relationships, and make responsible and caring decisions. So the emphasis on today's professional development is focused on trying to provide the teachers and support staff with positive things that they can do to support social emotional learning with the students at our school. So as we look at this diagram that we have, right in the center of the bullseye, we have social emotional learning, and then we're going to see it expand out in concentric circles. And we're really focused on, that second inner ring that starts with self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. This is where it comes in for us, especially for teachers in the classroom. How can we positively support students for their social emotional learning? And that's your answer right here. We're trying to build that self-awareness, that self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. So now I have a short video I'd like to share with you guys dealing with social and emotional learning. This video is just under 5 minutes long. I'm not going to have it playing live here while I'm talking, so the link is up there that you can watch at your own time. Another way to support the social emotional learning of students is by following Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And we can see this pyramid. Obviously, you build the pyramid from the bottom. So we're focused on that biological and physiological needs of students, making sure they have their basic needs met. Moving up, they go into safety, making sure they feel safe at school. Then we're working on forming those friendship, intimacy, connections, love, belonging. And then we're building up esteem all the way into self-actualization. And what this means as teachers and support staff is we need to work on building the base of that pyramid so then the children can flourish into self-actualization at the top. In other words, if a kid is hungry, if a kid does not feel safe, they're not going to be in their optimal learning environment. They're not going to be interested in learning about AP psychology if they're hungry and they feel threatened. So creating a safe environment is important to supporting the needs of not just gifted learners, but all learners in general. The simple way that we can support students through Maslow's hierarchy of needs is by having basic rules set up in the classroom. This really comes at the beginning of the year, starting off with clear expectations for your students. These are some of the rules that I have in my classroom. Come to class on time, be prepared to learn, pay attention, participate, ask questions. Number 3, respect yourself, the teacher, and others. And then number 4, take responsibility for your actions. You can obviously expand on these rules, to tailor it to your own personal classroom. But really looking at number 3, respect yourself, the teacher, and others, we're talking about creating a safe and welcoming environment for students. And if you have that safe, welcoming environment, they're going to be more motivated to learn, and they're also going to be more willing to open up and share when there are serious issues that come up with them. They're going to feel safe and supported. The next topic I want to dive into is active listening. And what I have on the screen here are 6 basic components of active listening skills. In other words, when a student is talking to you and they're opening up about their life, their curiosity in the classroom, these are 6 basic components we all should be doing. Number 1, you got to be paying attention. Number 2, withholding judgment. Then you're reflecting, you're clarifying what the student is talking about, you're summarizing, and then you're sharing with them too. And the key component here for active listening is this establishes mutual trust and respect between both parties and enhances that psychological support for social emotional learning. I can give you an example of this. I have one particular student who's gifted, and he loves doing this deep dive into whatever we're talking about. And I have to really focus on doing active listening because he's going so detailed into questions that, not to be rude, but just being honest, it's easy to kind of drift off sometimes. And you have to remind yourself, okay, I need to be focused. I need to be present for what this student is saying right now because it's important. So pay attention, withhold judgment, reflect, clarify, summarize, and share. That helps you build relationships. And speaking of relationships, this has always been a big phrase for us here in Hope County. Relationships matter. We need to practice this. Teachers, they often use these, quote, get to know me activities at the beginning of the year. However, these get to know me assignments can be used throughout the school year to help build relationships. In other words, show genuine interest in the lives of your students. Figure out what they want to do after high school. What are their goals in life? What do they want to major in college? Are they interested in joining the military? Once you start building that relationship, you'll be amazed at how much more effort they're willing to put into your class, and also how comfortable they feel talking about other issues, especially when it comes to social and emotional learning. I always preach this, that it's important to take a short break from content to build those relationships. It goes a long ways. I'm a big Carolina fan, so anytime you're talking about Carolina versus Duke, there's only one answer, Carolina. But if you take that short little brain break to talk to your students about basketball, talk to them about something that's not related to the content, it shows them that you're human, shows them that you're a person, and it helps them relate to you much more, which is important in forming relationships. Because those teachers who are more comfortable with their teacher, they're going to open up when there is a serious issue, and we can help them with that, or at least we'll be there to able to refer them to professional support if needed. So what I'd like to do now is pause a little bit and do a group breakout session. So here's my prompt for you to think about is go back to when you were in high school. Think about when you were in high school. What do you remember most about your favorite teachers? And also, what do you remember most about your least favorite teachers? So take a few minutes, talk with people in your groups, and we'll come back for a group discussion here. So now that you've had a few minutes to talk with your groups and talk about these prompts here, what do you remember about your most favorite teachers and least favorite teachers? Often the responses I get, it's not about how much they learned in that class. It's not about them saying, oh, I remember going to Mr. S's class and it was so wonderful because I learned so much about mathematics, so much about physics, so much about English. What we often remember is, how did that teacher treat us as a person? Were they kind? Were they caring? Were they funny? Were they open? Were they smiling when you came to class every day? Did they have a good positive attitude? Or were they mean and angry and bitter? So think about this as we go back and we work with our students. Not saying that you aim to be the favorite teacher every time, because you just can't do that. But at least we can be a kind person. At least we can be that supportive person in their life. And that's what I think we all aim to achieve. So just to wrap up and summarize here, here's our review of the key components of social emotional learning. We have self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, social awareness, and relationship skills. And here's our positive changes. Here's what we can actually implement in our school system. We can utilize Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have classroom rules to support social emotional learning. We're emphasizing active listening. And then we're also focusing on building those positive and professional relationships because relationships matter. Hey, I really appreciate you guys attending this professional development on social and emotional needs of gifted children. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a great day.